All right, I've got Roger Lee on the phone. He's another musician that reached out about the current interview session. So I'm going to go ahead and give him the chance to introduce himself.
Well, hello, everyone. As he said, my name is Roger Lee, and I'm from northern Wisconsin, up by the Hayward area, a little town called Winter. And yeah, I'm a solo musician for the most part, and more by just location, I think, has caused that than by wishes, because it's just a pretty remote area, and my work shift kind of changes that as well. But yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell. That's what I am, and um, I'm grateful to be on the interview today.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. So with these interviews, the target is always trying to figure out how somebody got into music. So tell me about when you kind of first connected with music. What environment were you in, and what really made you realize that you wanted to be a larger part of it in your life?
Well, my story is kind of odd. I had my wife gave me a guitar when I was 24, and for a Christmas gift, and I would play it for 3 months or 2 months, and then I would go about a year and a half where I didn't. And, I never linked up a long practice time where I really learned the guitar, and just other distractions in life, remodeling overtime, you name it. And when I was 47, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And while I was being treated, I didn't have a whole lot of energy, but I did a couple things every day. One was, we have a little Pomeranian. I'd walk him a block around the house, or the block, a couple times a day. And I started practicing my guitar, and I stuck with it. And it turned out to be really therapeutic. I'm in remission now over 10 years. And now that practicing turned into a passion for performing. I never had a plan to be a performer or anything. I started this little town I live in that's 325 people. And the first time I played in public was at their little festival. And I got $3 or $13 in tips. And now I play art community centers and nursing homes and spring festivals. And it's just blown up. I always say it's like a snowball going downhill. It just keeps gathering steam, and I don't know what to expect because it's not really a plan. It's just happening. So that's where it all started.
That's really great to come into it so late and still be able to find success with it.
Yeah, I think, and the thing that's really flattering to me is like the people I work with, most of them seem like they're my kids' ages, and they're so encouraging, and they're as happy for me as I think I am. So it's just been an all-around great experience.
Okay, so tell me about what was the motivation to start getting out there and playing live? Because you mentioned that learning the guitar itself was kind of a form of therapy for you. Why did you decide to make that next leap of faith with it to, get in front of people and show people what you've been doing?
Well, I don't know. I think there's something just within me that I enjoyed it, and people seem to really respond to it. It's a fulfilling. I love to sing. That's why I learned the guitar in the first place. And it's hard to just sing if you don't have a instrument. So that was what started it. But there's this, like right now, if I don't play in public for 3 weeks, I start kind of getting the itch again. And I think that does other things in my life that I'm not even aware of, where it might motivate me to, not just musically, like write a song, but it just changes, I don't know, my whole character to a certain extent. It gives me some peace. There's an internal peace in there that just comes from singing.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. So tell me about how you did go about the writing process. So you mentioned briefly there the type of stuff that you were writing. Tell me a bit about how you identify with the type of songs that you make.
Well, the good songs I write, I don't really do anything. They just kind of come. So it isn't like I say to myself, well, I'm going to write about this today. When I first started writing music, I would have a melody come in my head, and to the point where I couldn't sleep, and I'd get up in the morning and I'd have to write something down or play it. And then the words pretty much just came. Now it's kind of the other way around. It's turned into, I get an idea for a song, and if I write it down, then maybe 4 weeks from now I'll start playing a melody, and I'll have 5 different songs that I've written in front of me, and I just try to figure out which one it fits with. And it's a pretty simple process. Now I might change 5 words in there or 3 words in there, but for the most part, the whole song writes itself. I mean, I have plenty of half songs that are written down, but the ones I think that are good, they just kind of happen. So, and they're not even one genre either. I mean, I like classic country, but I have some ballads. I have some that could be played at a funeral, and it's kind of a juxtaposition of kind of music.
Okay, and so you mentioned that you're a solo singer, songwriter type genre. Did you ever consider for like your live stage presence to have like the full band lineup, or was it always just you wanted to do the solo singer songwriter thing?
Well, it would be nice. Right now, though, it's just kind of logistically, as I said, when I opened up, it's, I'm in a pretty remote place. So finding skilled musicians, let alone ones that are in the vicinity of you where you can get together and practice, is quite a challenge. So I'm just doing it that way now, but I'm going to start working with a couple people where we're actually all in 3 different states. And we're going to just work on it over videos where our timeline doesn't even have to be the same. So I'm going to write part of the song and then send it to both of them, and then they're going to work on it, and then we're going to put it all together. It isn't like we have to have our timelines all together. So hopefully that'll work out, because I don't get a whole lot of opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that'll be cool. People are finding new ways to, collaborate over the internet all the time. So I think you'll find success with that. I don't think it'll be too big of a deal.
Well, me challenged technically, I'm not a very techie guy. So what you can do in about 5 minutes the first couple of times takes me an hour to figure it out. But
all right. So tell me about where that would lead to. So that's kind of the stuff that you're working on now. But what do you see, 10 steps ahead of that? Are you going to get these guys ever on like a small little regional tour kind of thing? Or what do you kind of see for yourself going forward?
yeah, I guess if it was to work out, we could, start it slow and just try to get together a couple times a month when I play. Because so I'm a machinist. That's my regular job. And but the place I work at, they give me the whole summer off, so I get 5 months off every year to sing. So yeah, it's we all like to complain about work, but I guess I can't. So I guess that would be the plan. But right now, I've only been doing this in public for a little over 3 years now, and so this year I'm going out west, and I'm playing in places that I never really thought I would. And I'm in a songwriting competition that maybe that'll go the right way. So a lot of it's just kind of, I'm leaving it up to God. And if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen, which has taken a lot of stress off of me. I really put out a lot of contacts to try to get gigs. But if I'm meant to get it, I'll get it. And if God's my agent, he's God after all, I'm going to get it. So it's, I don't have to keep pressing, because a few places I've really pushed to get in, where they finally took me in, they just sucked. Where they did, they didn't remember I was coming, or it was just not a good fit. So that's kind of taken a lot of pressure off me. Or I'll reach out to a place, 2-3 times, and maybe next year I'll reach out to them a couple times. But after a certain point, it's like, okay, I don't need to keep trying here. I mean, ideally, I'd like to play at these artist community centers, because people are coming to listen to music. I mean, I appreciate any venue I can play at. from a dive bar to a festival or something. But I think that would be like the A game for me, just because they're coming to listen to music, and you're not competing with the bar scene. Like I said, I enjoy certain bars I've played at, but other ones are just so loud in there. It's going through your head. What am I even here for? And that's when you got to tell yourself they're paying you to practice, and then I can kind of get through it,
So tell me, you mentioned that it's only been a few years that you've been doing this in front of people, and then only a few years more than that you've actually, been engaged in the learning process with music. What has kept you motivated to continue to pursue it, and then to have these kind of visions of, performing at these artist centers and things like that?
Oh, I think the bottom line is I like to write. I like to write the music, and I like how the words will create a picture. And if I'm not dedicated to practicing, and for me, I play like 4 days a week for an hour that I'm dedicated to it, and then some other times I might pick up the guitar, or if I'm playing, at a venue, but where it's really just focused on practicing and writing and developing, and then it kind of blossoms from there. So and if I can write a really good song, that kind of goes back to the whole being in music in the park or a artist community where you're performing, where people are actually listening to the words. It's hard to play original music at a bar or a winery or a brewery, because people like songs that they know. They don't want to slow down enough to listen a lot, because they're in a conversation and they're out to visit with their friends, so that's kind of the angle I come at it is, I got to do this in order to I got to go to point A to get to point D. It isn't a one-step thing. My part is committing time to it and then following through. And then it all starts with writing and practicing.
All right, perfect. So where can people find, your like tour schedule, and then also the stuff that you're putting out?
Well, I have an artist page on Facebook, Roger Lee Musician, and that gives my schedule. Right now, the majority of my gigs are in northern Wisconsin, like north of 94. Say we'll go from Eau Claire up to Lake Superior. I play quite a bit up around Lake Superior, and occasionally I get into Minnesota, on eastern Minnesota. So that's kind of my grouping right now. Like I was saying earlier, I get to go out to Wyoming this year, and so that's starting to develop into I actually get to go on a little road trip. So, all this stuff is kind of exciting for me. I mean, right now I'm 57. And I never considered doing stuff like this when I was 20. And people say to me, well, geez, why didn't you? Don't you wish you did this when you were in your 20s? I said, yeah, I'd probably be dead. Because when I was in my 20s, if every day was a Saturday, I don't think I would have lasted. So, but yeah, that would be the area, though, for the most part. And maybe go on YouTube. I got a YouTube channel, and I got 7 or 8 songs on there that I'm going to start developing that this year. That's kind of one of my goals, is to be consistent with getting stuff out there on the internet.
Awesome. Well, I'm very glad that you're finding success, even starting so late. I think it's great. So I always like to give the person that I'm interviewing the opportunity to put out their last word. So what's a message that you have that you want to share with other people?
Well, my one big thing is, so I have 3 things. Like, why would I come on this podcast? Well, I have 3 reasons. One's obviously to promote myself, and maybe somebody will hear something and say, hey, let's go see this guy. Another one is, you're never too old to learn an instrument. And you don't have to go out and play in public like me, or, you don't have to develop it into something like that. But it's really therapeutic. And I believe in that right brain, left brain thing. It's when I practice, I don't think about hardly anything else. And it's a good escape that you don't have to go anywhere and just to get away from life's cares. And then the third thing is this whole cancer thing brought this music into my life. And when someone gives you a stage 4 cancer diagnosis and says you have a 50% chance of living 2.5 years, I want people to know it ain't a death sentence. It can be, it very well can be, but it can be something that, why did I go through that? What's the whole point of going through this? And I slowed my life down, and I want people to know that, there's hope. So if you know somebody who has cancer or who has had cancer, go to my YouTube page and punch in Roger Lee, the Big C. And I took a song. So the song's about cancer, but I took a song. Have you ever heard of Jimmy Rogers?
I don't think so.
He's from like the Depression era. And he was a real big singer back there. And he wrote a song called the TB Blues, and it was about tuberculosis. And that's what killed him. And they call him the Blue Yodeler. So there's some yodeling going on and stuff. But I just changed like 10 words in the song, and it's really relevant today. So if you know anybody who has cancer, who has had cancer, have them watch that and say that's a stage 4 cancer survivor. So it's never over till it's over. But that's probably my biggest reason for being on.